Hi everybody, my name is Jennifer Lynch and I'm a teacher in Marina College Further Education. So just a little bit of background about myself. I have a background in the dental sector and the medical sector, and I also have a background in the disability sector. So at the moment I'm currently doing a postgraduate course in UCD, in the Innovation Academy in UCD, and I'm studying entrepreneurship and innovation. And I suppose this course, along with the UDL course that I did, really complemented my teaching practice throughout the year. And I really saw the skills that I could implement throughout the year. So just to give you a little bit of background about Marino College, because it would be unfair if I didn't. Marino College is a further education college, and we cater for a diverse range of students, students that are mature students that are coming back to education, um, students who would like to transition onto further education in the future. Actually, students who have been to third level education and it wasn't for them often come back to Marino as well. And also students who English isn't their first language. So we've a wide variety of courses from a level 4 back to education course up to level 5. And we've recently developed a higher level 6 dental nursing traineeship, which we hope to run out in September 2020. So that's really exciting for us in Marino. So just a little bit about the course. So the course that I chose to implement the UDL into was a health service management level 6 course. And the module that I chose was the disability awareness module. So according to the module descriptor, the students have to design 5 learning activities. They have to work with a person or a group of people with disabilities. And then at the end of this, they have to produce a 3,500 word essay. So the reason that I chose this module was that the class was a very diverse group. 50% of the class, English was not their first language. Some students had print disabilities or mild general learning disabilities. So I just thought that I could implement this really well into the program. So I just love this slide. We all think differently. Why should we all learn the same way? And this is what I loved about incorporating the UDL or the framework and the philosophy into my teaching. So it's about removing any barriers to learning and to give the students equal opportunities to succeed. So the why of learning, so this really interested me, and as an educator and a student myself, because I'm a constant learner, I really wanted to reflect on why students learn, like what makes them walk outside your classroom after 50 minutes and be encouraged enough or interested enough to go on and look at a TED Talks video or to have a look at a YouTube video. So what motivates students to become, more independent and motivated students? So when I started the UDL course in September, I explained to the students about the UDL framework and they were really interested. And I told them that I wanted to integrate it into the disability awareness module. So we actually looked at the framework together. I asked the question, why are we learning about disabilities and what do we want to learn? So the feedback from the students was that, they wanted to understand difficult concepts. They wanted to know about the words diversity, inclusion, advocacy. They didn't just want to see it as words on a page. They had heard of the words, but they just didn't understand what they were. They wanted to eliminate preconceived ideas about the disability, preconceived ideas that they had themselves of what the disability sector was and what society have as well. And also they wanted an authentic student experience as well. So what I did was I contacted Rosalind Park College. Now, for those of you who don't know about Rosalind Park College, it's part of the National Learning Network. It's an amazing college. It teaches different courses from level 3 up to level 5. So, and all the students in Rosalind Park have different disabilities. So the culinary students agreed to work with us. We were really lucky, and they were about to do a team working module. And it was important for me that not only my students benefit, but also the students from Rosalind Park College benefited. And I wanted us all to achieve different learning outcomes together. So, it was a little bit of an experiment as well. So straight away, well, after a few icebreaker games, we were able to apply the UDL principles. So the students, you know, straight away they started learning through collaboration. They were fostering, you know, really good community spirit together. The students themselves came up with multiple means of engagement. They were the ones that decided on the weekly meeting. They had they wanted interactive collaborative workshops, and luckily the culinary students offered to facilitate that, and they did lots of different cookery demonstrations for us. But their ultimate goal at the end of the 5 weeks or activities was to raise money for a charity, and they both decided to come together and choose a charity themselves, so you know, without any input from me. So I have to say, I can really attest the fact that this framework works. We had full attendance every single week, and that is not easy to do from both sides of students. Like, so both sets of students always came every single week. And in fact, some of my students asked, could they do extra hours? They wanted to work with the students and do extra hours, which was great because they can incorporate that into their work experience module. So really they did become purposeful students and really, really motivated. So for like, it was an authentic experience for both students. The colouring students were assessed on their team working module, so they got the opportunity to, you know, showcase their skills, and they're a talented bunch. And my students, the supervisory students, they were able to organise their 5 different activities, and they could also use the hours and cross-modulate as part of their work experience. So really, the why of learning, I think, was covered here. So the next part of the UDL framework was the how of learning, and how could the students translate this experience that they gained into a written piece of work and show evidence for the purpose of their assessment. So what I did was I created a poll online, and as part of the action expression, I asked the students, would you prefer a different method of assessment with regards to writing the journal? A lot of students do struggle with sitting down and writing. So 73%, surprise, surprise, said they would like an alternative assessment method. And then I also asked them as well, if you were offered a different assessment method, what would you choose? So I offered them one, the use of a PowerPoint and voiceover, presentation done through a video, or a portfolio with pictures, videos and text. So 73% of the students said that they would love to do a portfolio and a video. So I suppose after reflecting on the feedback from what the students gave me, I gave them the option of submitting their assignments through creating a portfolio of images and videos. So the majority of students reached their word count without even realizing it, and with a lot less pressure because they had that visual cues that they can go by. So what impact did the incorporation UDL have on the students? So it did have a big impact. So the students felt that the experience was really relevant and added to the value of the careers that they wanted to pursue. So a lot of the students do want to go into disability sector. So by engaging in peer-to-peer feedback during sessions, it enabled them to then reflect on their journal and implement that into their portfolio. So at the beginning, both sets of students did find it challenging standing up in front of people you don't know and doing a presentation or doing it online. It really did take them out of their comfort zone. But they felt that through collaboration together, they formed a sense of community together. And it made both of their modules seem a little bit more relevant. So the students did become very resourceful and knowledgeable. There was very little input from myself or the other students. It was a very much a student-led approach. The supervisory students learned new skills. Some of them had never even baked a cake or baked a scone. So the culinary students taught them how to do that. They taught each other about budgets and planning. That was really important for the bake sale, and they taught each other new ways of learning through doing. So they really did become experiential learners by learning by doing. So another principle of the UDL is how the learning has become strategic and driven. So the ultimate goal for the students really was to complete the assignment, but it definitely became much more than that. The students really wanted to raise money for charity, and they managed to raise €350 for Pieta House. That was their charity of choice, and they're really, really proud of that. So I think that like engaging in this course has taught me that UDL is more than offering information in different formats. It's about the student-centered approach, making material accessible and interesting, and understanding that like technology can be a really wonderful tool, but if you combine that with an authentic student experience, it can be really powerful for both the teacher and the student, and really make the student motivated and interested. So just a quick bit of feedback. So this is the feedback that I got from some of the students. The students of Marina College really showcased the skills they learned regardless of their disabilities and the stereotypes society put upon them. I'm so grateful to have collaborated with them. And another student said, in planning and working with the students in Rosalind Park College, I've learned a lot about working in a team, inclusion, and the acceptance of people with disabilities. When I think of students from NLN, the words that come to mind are listening, community, self-direction, and talent. So like, I think that you'll all agree that the students involved learned more than just words on a page. So just briefly, how I'm going to incorporate UDL into Marino College and into my teaching practice. So I also did the facilitation badges, and for anyone from Marino who's watching, a lot of them have expressed interest. So we're going to roll out the facilitation badge. I would love to do another postgraduate or further education on UDL, because I just think it's just so powerful. And the final thing is, which is really exciting, I mentioned it earlier on, because I was involved in the creation of the Dental Nursing Traineeship, I was one of the people involved in it. We did write UDL into the fabric of the curriculum. So going forward in September, UDL really will feature heavily for the new dental nursing traineeship program. So that'll be really exciting, and it's something very tangible. So I just want to say thanks to Dara and Ahead for putting on a really wonderful online course. It's actually one of the best online courses I've ever done. So if you're thinking about doing it, do it and get involved in it. So thanks a million.